One of the biggest complaints 4 months ago was about drug activity taking place in abandoned homes. A passenger train traveling through here at top speed would need more than 1.5 miles of track to come to a complete stop. Last year's Jodi Day Parade helped find homes for 70 animals. They hope the first of many ability homes nationwide. As you can see by the crowd behind me, hundreds are gathered here. The bottom line is this: Saddam Hussein won't let UN inspectors look for weapons of mass destruction. Block Captain Richard Copeland patrols his neighborhood every hour of every night. His only weapons, a cell phone and a flashlight.
We're here 24 hours a day. You got 400 eyes watching the streets.
Watching the streets and cleaning them as well. By day, these vigilantes turn in their cell phones for garden tools, clipping weeds, raking yards, and clearing lots that have been a community eyesore for years. Since the group formed January 1st, they've worked on more than a dozen homes. But their biggest accomplishment so far? Just 4 months ago, one of the biggest complaints in this area was about drug activity taking place in abandoned homes like this one. So the Neighborhood Watch Group took to the streets, patrolling every night, essentially chasing those drug dealers out.
A few of us would stand out with flashlights, taking tag numbers, letting them see us. Eventually, on one of them, we had to sue them to get them out of the neighborhood.
Get them out they did. The house that's empty, now condemned by the city. And that's not all. During nightly patrols like this one, Copeland alerted police to 2 suspicious men in the car, later nabbed as robbery suspects. Officers say such round-the-clock efforts are putting the neighborhood back in Neighborhood Watch.
They're really making a difference in their neighborhood, not only the way it looks, but its safety as well. I think that we're going to see the criminal problem drop off dramatically.
But till then, Copeland will continue his nightly patrols. He says until the crime sprees come to a full stop. With photojournalist Dan King, Jodi, Jasmin, 42 Daily News. All week, police and community leaders have been urging people to stay home. They say the best way to deal with the Klan is to ignore them altogether. As you can see by the crowd behind me, hundreds are gathered here. They say they could not stay away. And police anticipated a big crowd today. The blockades went up at 7 this morning to keep Klan members and protesters separate.
Here's that Klan! Go away!
Some of the KKK's fiercest opponents kept their distance, however. They chose to protest outside the cordoned-off area.
It would be just an invitation to a provocation by the Klan to enter that inner perimeter, police perimeter, and we're encouraging everyone to stay out.
That advice went ignored, however, by hundreds who wanted to see and hear the Klan firsthand. Tempers were running high, but for the most part, protesters call this rally a waste of time.
They're not saying anything that's interesting to anybody. That's all it's doing is creating a bunch of tension between the blacks and the whites out here. There's no point to it.
And folks like Mary Finger say there was no point to being at the rally at all. She spent the day instead celebrating the birthday of Martin Luther King.
We're not about hate. We're not about crime. We're about enriching our communities.
While many don't agree with the Klan's views, some say they do respect the group's right to rally.
That's what Martin Luther King wanted, you know, freedom for all.
Free for all and so far peaceful, with only 3 arrests overall. Still, police say they're ready for the worst. And as this rally wraps up, police expect the real trouble to begin as these folks start heading home and hitting the streets. Reporting from downtown Birmingham, Jodi, Jasmin, 42 Daily News. The sound signals a train is approaching, and fast. But far too often, the warnings are ignored. This train is about 100 feet from the intersection, but car after car drives through the crossing, paying no attention to the gates, the signals, or the danger speeding towards them.
Hello, Operation Lifesaver, reminding people to be safe at crossings, to stop, look, listen, and live.
This week, volunteers from local railroad companies are joining forces with Birmingham police. They'll hit 20 different crossings throughout the city in the hopes of preventing future crashes.
When the gates are down and the lights are flashing, the road is technically closed, and we want them to wait until the gates go back up before they cross.
The consequences of not stopping could be deadly. A passenger train traveling through here at top speed would need more than 1.5 miles of track to come to a complete stop. Engineer J.C. Logan sees the danger every day.
We really don't look like we're moving as fast as what we are. And plus, you've got dangerous chemicals. You know, if it derails the train, then you're subject to spill dangerous chemicals, or whatever.
But despite the danger watches, this white car drives around the warning gates and across the tracks. Here, the train is less than 50 feet away. Not even the sight of two trains stops some drivers. In this case, a pickup truck speeds through the crossing, a situation which could spell disaster for the trains traveling up to 50 miles per hour. Chris Bright watches as his new home is built from the ground up. Wheelchair-bound since 1991, Chris had spent years searching for a house that could fit his needs.
I would have moved in and it wouldn't have been accessible. I wouldn't have been able to move about, get into the bathroom.
Habitat for Humanity has built homes for more than 70,000 families worldwide. But this is the first to accommodate people with disabilities like Chris. When finished, the Ability House, as it's called, will come complete with this specially designed shower.
You might need to get on the far corner.
Wider door frames and eventually cabinets and closets, all that can be reached from the seat of a wheelchair. But the best part for Chris, the builders include volunteers who have disabilities themselves, like Danny Coker, left paralyzed 32 years ago in a car crash.
Well, I think it's important that people know that people with disabilities have as many abilities as they do disabilities.
Well, volunteers plan to finish Chris's home by the end of the week. They say this prototype is just the beginning. They hope the first of many ability homes nationwide. Jodi, Jasmin for CBS News, Birmingham. The bottom line is this: Saddam Hussein won't let UN inspectors look for weapons of mass destruction. So the U.S. is threatening a military strike, and it could come at any time. Intelligence sources believe Iraq could produce chemical and biological weapons in a matter of weeks. A high-speed police chase ended in gunfire this morning near the Jefferson County Civic Center. It started when a Birmingham police officer tried to pull over a speeding car near the airport. But Carlos Posey didn't stop until his car smashed into the median at I-59. Strong words from the state's future governor tonight. He wants portable classrooms removed or else.